In today's video, we're going to be talking all about the newest fragrance from Kayali, Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts, then just keep watching. Before we get into the video, I do want to quickly introduce myself for those of you who may be new here. My name is Aisha. I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're interested in, please consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is part of my Love, Like, or Let Down series. If you've never seen these videos from me, basically I come on, give you guys a very first impression of the fragrance. I then go on to wear that fragrance at least 6 more times, and then I come back and give you guys my full review. So in today's video, we'll be talking about the brand new fragrance, Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli from Kayali. Long name. So let's go ahead and get into the first impression. So I just got my package in the mail, and this came at the perfect time because I'm actually getting ready to go out to dinner with a friend. So perfect time for me to actually try this out. All right, so here is the beautiful gold box. Inside we have the beautiful all gold bottle. If I can get it out. Oh, that's really pretty. I love it. I knew I would because I love gold and I like their other metallic bottles, but I'm happy to see it in person. It feels really good, very blingy. So I'm happy with the bottle, but what's more important is how this fragrance smells. So because I don't have much time, instead of spraying paper, I'm just gonna spray this on my body and tell you guys what I think right now. Okay, so you see I'm a little bit coughing from spraying this fragrance, and I actually, with Vanilla 28, I actually sneeze like every time I spray it, so I'm kind of not surprised that I kind of coughed when I sprayed this one. But so far I am getting this very deep dark scent. I can definitely smell the oud, definitely smell the vanilla here. It smells quite boozy. That was what I was thinking as I was spraying on myself. I'm not sure if y'all saw me smiling while I was spraying it, but I could definitely smell like a boozy note or a deep dark plum note. Sometimes plum comes off as boozy to me. So I definitely smell something like that along with oud and vanilla. I'm kind of scared to spray anymore because this feels pretty like intense, but I'm going to spray like one more spray on my arms because my once I go out, I'll be pulling down my sleeves because it's actually cold outside. So if I overspray there, it's not gonna make too much of a difference. Yeah, it also smells even slightly kind of chocolatey. I guess the oud is giving off this kind of chocolatey vibe. So for first impressions, this is love for me, guys. It's a love. Not really what I was expecting, but it's definitely a love for me as of right now. Now, I am going to wear this for at least 3 days, meaning morning and night for at least 3 days. Sometimes those are 3 consecutive days, but overall, I'm going to wear it for at least 6 times before I come back and give you guys my full review of this fragrance. It will be within this same video, so make sure you just keep watching. So I'm back, and it's been about a week since I filmed the first portion of this video, so I feel like I have a pretty good handle on this fragrance, and I'm ready to talk to you all about it. So Vanilla Royale, when I spray it on my skin, initially I get a blast of patchouli and oud. That is literally the first thing I smell when I smell this fragrance. Now the patchouli in this fragrance definitely smells earthy, but it is still quite smooth. So I don't think that it smells like too dirty, like 70s patchouli, but it definitely is patchouli forward at very first spray. The oud in this smells quite smooth, but you can definitely still tell that there's oud in here at first spray. Now as this fragrance begins to dry down, it does start to sweeten up and it becomes a little less earthy and just very well-rounded. And that's when the vanilla starts to peek out. I will say that the longer that I wear this fragrance, the more the vanilla kind of comes to the forefront. But to start off, this fragrance doesn't really smell like a vanilla forward fragrance. So I think for some people that were expecting just like a more intense version of the very popular Vanilla 28, It is not that. Now, I do think there's brown sugar in this fragrance as well. And in the dry down, it does kind of become this mix of a gourmand vanilla, but mixed with those other kind of spicy, earthy notes. So to me, those spicy, earthy notes never really go away. They just kind of fade deep into the background at the very deep dry down. But overall, they're still there. So would I classify this as a gourmand fragrance? No, I personally wouldn't, but I do think that it has some gourmand touches to it. It does not smell edible to my nose. I do think this fragrance is sweet, but it's not extremely sweet. It doesn't smell cakey sweet. It's more just like sweetened by that boozy note that's in this fragrance. I forgot to mention there is a boozy note to my nose anyway. I know the notes are on the back, but y'all, I try not to look at them too much. So I don't want to look at them while I'm talking about this, but to me, it smells like there is some sort of deep boozy note, like a dark rum or a cognac or a whiskey or something. That is around basically the whole time. To me, it's not overpowering though. It doesn't smell like you've been drinking, but you can definitely smell that. And I think that adds to the sweetness and roundness of this scent. Overall, I do think this is a very well blended scent. Kind of hard to pick out the notes. Another thing that I want to add is that somewhere in like the mid, I feel like I smell chocolate. I don't know if chocolate is listed as a note. If it is, it's not one of their main notes that they've been advertising, because I feel like I would have remembered that. But to me, it does kind of give off a chocolatey vibe. It's like that chocolatey, earthy, patchouli oud mix that kind of comes out more in the mid of this fragrance. But again, in the deep dry down, I don't really smell that anymore. It's more so vanilla with all the other stuff in the background. So I actually think that because of the earthiness of this fragrance and the sweetness not being overpowering at all, I feel like this fragrance is unisex, which for Kayali, I feel like that is quite different, because most of the Kayali scents to me lean completely feminine, but I do think this one is unisex. Now, when it comes to projection and longevity, Kayali is not known for having great projection or longevity on their fragrances. Let's just be honest, right? But this one's different. This one is different. First, we're going to talk about longevity, because this really amazed me at how long it lasts on the skin. I wore this to work the other day, which is, y'all know that's one of my favorite places to test out my fragrances, because I can really pay attention to them. I sprayed my fragrance on at probably about 7 a.m. By the time I walked out of my job at 6 p.m., my coworker said she could still smell me. She could still smell me. Now, I couldn't smell it really wafting around, but when I put my nose to my skin, I could still smell it as well. It was still a skin scent at that point. So to me, Chloe. So I know y'all just saw my daughter in the background. I really wanted to get this video done. It's Thanksgiving break, so she's here. So if you see a little black hair running around, that's her, okay? But anyway, back to the fragrance. So to me, the longevity was extremely impressive in this fragrance. Now, when it comes to projection, this fragrance smells pretty strong when I first spray it on. It's really hard sometimes to measure projection, because it kind of depends on other people. Like if I'm not smelling this on someone else, I don't know how people smell it on me. But I will say that when I wore this to work, I did get a compliment on it. And the person who complimented me on it was standing probably 10 feet away from me. She was standing about 10 feet away from me. And she said that once I asked her like later on, like to expand on her compliment, because she knows I'm testing out fragrances a lot. So she was willing to like give me feedback. But she said that when she first smelled it on me, it just smelled kind of like spicy and good. And that's when she was about 10 feet away. That was early in the day. That was probably after I'd been wearing it for about 2 hours. And then she said that when she passed by me later in the day and she complimented me again, she said that it smelled sweet like vanilla. So I feel like she has a pretty good nose, because that's kind of what I think about this fragrance as well. So I would say if I had to guess about projection and longevity, I feel like when you first spray it, probably the first 3 to 4 hours, anybody who is probably 5 to 6 feet away from you will smell it, depending on how you spray. I have not really been overspraying this fragrance because I don't feel the need to. I just spray regular with this fragrance. Now, I will say this fragrance lasts on my skin for probably about 12 hours. And I think it kind of turns into a skin scent somewhere around that 8 or 9 hour mark, because besides that day that I was wearing this at work, every other time I wore this fragrance, I could smell it on myself the entire time I was wearing it for at least 8 to 9 hours. So again, projection, longevity, no complaints. So I think this fragrance works best in cool to cold weather or nighttime. I don't think that it's so heavy that you couldn't wear it during warmer weather, but if this was during the summer, I would probably reserve this for nighttime only. I definitely think this fragrance is sophisticated, it's a little bit sexy, it's bold, so this is something that I would probably wear out on a date night. I could wear this during the day because it kind of gives off cozy vibes as well, as long as it's cold outside, but I think date night, going out occasions would be perfect time to wear this fragrance. I think this fragrance is unique in my collection. So although I think this fragrance is unique, I do have a few fragrances I want to compare it to. I have 3.5 fragrances to compare it to. So you'll see why I'm saying 3.5 in a moment. But first up, we have to compare it to the original Vanilla 28 from Kayali, because I mean, I know that's what y'all want to know. Are they alike? And I have to say, in the very deep dry down, I do get that Vanilla 28 DNA. However, at first spray, you do not. I do think these fragrances are their own fragrances. And if you're just looking for a more intense version, longer lasting, stronger version of Vanilla 28, you are not going to get that from Vanilla Royale. But you can definitely smell the Vanilla 28 DNA in Vanilla Royale. It's just in the dry down. The next fragrance and a half that I want to compare this to are actually the Black Orchid. So this is the original Black Orchid EDP, and this is Black Orchid Parfum. Now, the reason that I want to compare Vanilla Royale to those two fragrances is that when I smell this fragrance, like after I sprayed it on, I was reminded of Black Orchid. Now, do I think they're the same? Absolutely not. But to me, the earthiness of the patchouli mixed with the oud, and when that chocolatey note started to come out, it really reminded me of Black Orchid. Now, I definitely think it's more similar to Black Orchid Parfum, which to me is a sweeter, boozier version of the original Black Orchid. But overall, it does give me Black Orchid vibes. Now, does that mean that if you hate Black Orchid, like so many people do, does that mean that you won't like Vanilla Royale? Absolutely not. I definitely think Vanilla Royale is easier to wear than Black Orchid. It is sweeter. It is, I don't want to say it's more well blended, but I know that Black Orchid, especially this original one, can be problematic for a lot of people. And I think that just because you don't like Black Orchid doesn't mean you shouldn't try this if you're interested, but they do kind of vibe the same, especially in the opening. Now, as this fragrance gets into the very deep dry down, I would say they veer off. And there's another fragrance that this reminds me of in the very deep dry down, and that is none other than Initio Absolute Aphrodisiac. Now, I love this fragrance, y'all. To me, this is a sexy, sweet, spicy kind of root beer-ish type of vanilla. Gorgeous in my opinion. It's unique. It is delicious smelling without smelling completely edible. In the deep dry down, this gives me the same kind of vibes, honestly, because the very first day that I wore this fragrance, once I had it on for a long time and I was kind of just getting those little whiffs from my wrist, that's what I thought of. Initio Absolute Aphrodisiac. And to me, surprisingly, they smell quite similar in the dry down. They're not the same, but they do smell quite similar. So I think if you love something like Absolute Aphrodisiac, then you may love this, but still not really a safe blind buy because this fragrance goes on a journey. But in the deep dry down, they do smell similar. So this fragrance is priced similarly to the other Kayali fragrances. The 50 ml bottle retails for $100. All right, so we're nearing the end of this video, and this is the point in time where I let you guys know if this fragrance is a love, a like, or a letdown for me. So if you've ever seen one of these videos from me, then you know it is time to go down into the comment section. Go down there, type in your guess, okay? Don't cheat. Type in your guess. Do you think this fragrance is a love, a like, or a letdown? All right, I gave y'all enough time. So this fragrance, Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli, is a dun 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 love. It's a love for me. Now, I love this fragrance because I love the complexity of it. I don't think it is the vanilla fragrance that I was expecting, but honestly, that's a good thing. I did watch a couple reviews on this fragrance prior to getting it, but I didn't watch any once I actually decided to review this fragrance because I didn't really want to be influenced. But a few people that were sent PR, I did watch some of their videos, but even after watching those videos, this fragrance still was different than what I expected. But to me, it's different in a great way. Like, it's complex, and I like that it goes on that journey of a fragrance, because when I first spray this on, it's a lot. It's doing a lot, but I know it's gonna last all day, so it's gonna calm down and it's not gonna be overpowering or problematic for people or for myself. So I love this fragrance. I think Kayali did a great job coming out with something quite different. This is a lot more complex than a lot of the other fragrances in their collection, in my opinion. Now, is it the most likable fragrance? I don't think so. So I think people that think they can buy all Kayali blindly could be a little bit disappointed in this one. But for me, I love it. Don't think it's a safe blind buy. If you are going to blind buy it, definitely get one of their travel sizes, because you may love it or you may hate it. But for me, it's a love, and I'm so excited. I feel like Kayali's latest releases have not always worked out 100% for me, but I do really enjoy the brand. And so I am happy that this is a love, because honestly, if I wouldn't have liked this fragrance, I think I would have been done by Kayali. That sounds so like severe, but I probably would have been done blind buying Kayali, and I would have just waited until, you know, I could go smell in a store somewhere. So anyway, this fragrance is a love for me. If you have tried Vanilla Royale, let us know in the comments what you think of it. I'm sure this fragrance is going to get mixed reviews because, like I said, it is a complex fragrance, but let us know what you think of it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, I will link my love, like, or let down playlist for you all, so definitely check that out. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If you don't already have your notification bells on, do that as well. I upload videos 3 times a week, so I have plenty of content, plenty of stuff for you to binge watch. Definitely subscribe, turn on those notification bells for me. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me over there. I typically chit chat with you guys in my stories and DMs, and a lot of times I end up giving you guys sneak peeks of new fragrances in my collection. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.